Hey 49ers fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome into Chat Sports, and today, let's go ahead and answer some mailbag questions that you guys submitted using the hashtag 49ers in a video yesterday. We're doing it a little bit early because it's playoff week for the 49ers, right? So a lot of questions here. Get to as many as I possibly can in about 10 minutes, starting with Owen Penshofer. He asked, who do you think out of Dee, Kwon, and Tart is most important to return for the team in order to get a win on Saturday? So first off, in case you didn't know, Dee Ford, Tart the safety, and obviously Kwon Alexander are all trending towards playing in some limited role at some point during the Saturday game against the Minnesota Vikings. Tart and Ford probably a lot more. Alexander, he's supposed to play, but obviously will be more of a game-time decision depending on how many snaps he actually gets as well. Most important one for me, I think it's Dee Ford. Kwon Alexander could be a great addition to the 49ers. He could come back, shore up that linebacking spot that Greenlaw's played well at, but just take it to the next level. He could be really, really important. I think adding another pass rusher, though, especially with what is a very good Viking offensive line, with Kirk Cousins, when he has no pressure, it's a very, very good quarterback. One more pass rusher into the mix, especially one the caliber of Dee Ford has been out for the past couple of games, could be a huge addition for 49ers this Saturday. Now, all three of these guys, again, Tart great in the backside. Kwon, again, a Pro Bowl caliber, all-pro caliber linebacker when healthy, depending on how healthy he is. And for the pass rusher, will all be very, very important, but I would have to go with Dee Ford. Could have the biggest impact on this game. One sack, one strip fumble, one quarterback pressure, forcing an interception, whatever it is, could be the difference in this game. Quick ad break here on YouTube. The YouTube ad's going to run. Just let it go. Scroll down, answer the question right here. Who's more important for the win on Saturday? If you had to pick one, Ford, Kwon, or Tart, will be a pinned comment down below from us. Go ahead and answer it right now. All right, moving on here. Next question. The Best Kid 1 asked, do you think Deebo Samuel is the #1 wide receiver on the wide receiver core to go to in clutch time? I'm also wondering about Jeff Wilson Jr. Where is he? So two-part question. First off, right now, I'm going to be honest. I first read this question and went, well, no, Sanders is the #1 wide receiver. And then you start looking at numbers and compare them side by side, and it's like, you know what? Maybe Deebo is kind of the #1 target right now from a wide receiver standpoint for Jimmy Garoppolo. And I think Garoppolo would like to go to Sanders, but for whatever reason, Emmanuel Sanders either has a game where he goes 10 for 120, or he goes 2 catches for 17, or 3 catches for 30. It's just like he's not consistent enough recently. Now, that's not saying Deebo Samuel is some Julio Jones, Antonio Brown, 10 catches a game, balling out of his mind. He just seems to have a couple end-arounds a game for 19, 20 yards, and then 4 to 5 catches to get him in that 70-yard range and maybe a rushing touchdown, a receiving touchdown. He's been very, very good. I would not be surprised if Deebo Samuel, again, has a better game on Saturday than Emmanuel Sanders. Now, I would love for Emmanuel Sanders to ball out on Saturday. Do not get me wrong, but I don't know. Deebo Samuel, this question made me think Samuel's been playing very, very well. As far as Jeff Wilson Jr., only 2 carries since Week 9, basically tells you everything you need to know. They just don't want to give him the rock, and I think that kind of ties in the fact they want to give Raheem Mostert the rock. They, for whatever reason, whether it's because the other 2 running backs in terms of Coleman and Breida are secretly banged up, or they just aren't producing in practice, or not producing, whatever it is, they want the ball in Mostert's hands. Now, Mostert's been great, right? We cannot take away from the fact that Raheem Mostert's been very, very good, but for whatever reason, they've not wanted to give it to Jeff Wilson, they've not wanted to give it to Breida or Coleman. It's been basically the Raheem Mostert show in the running back field for the past couple of weeks. That could all change on Saturday. They could immediately want to go to Breida. Breida could have a big game. Coleman could have a big game. Wilson's activated. He could have a big game, so I don't really know where he's been. He's not injured. He just is not getting a lot of carries. If I was betting on who has the biggest game from a running back standpoint, it would be Mostert, but I could say that. And Matt Breida could go 12 for 75 yards and a touchdown, and Coleman could catch 5 passes for 50 yards and rush for 50 yards. Like, all these different weapons behind Jimmy Garoppolo in the backfield could go off. It's just been Mostert who's been the most, I guess, consistent running back over the past couple of weeks. It's just been very, very interesting to see how that has all worked out. Okay, moving on here in terms of the next question on this list. If I can pull it up here right now. Although I do want to actually ask this question first. Who do you guys trust more? Type D for Deebo Samuel, type S for Emmanuel Sanders. Going back to that wide receiver question on the 2-part question here. D for Deebo, S for Sanders. Who do you guys trust more this weekend? Before we move on to Ron's question, you guys have not bet on the 49ers yet this week. They're heavy favorites, as they should be, at home. The 1 seed, chatsports.com/bet. Use our promo code DEAL120. Or sorry, use our promo code 49ers to get a 120% deposit bonus whenever you guys sign up. Got through it there, right? chatsports.com/bet, promo code 49ers, 120% deposit bonus whenever you sign up. Ron's question is this: is it likely that we will trade our first-round pick for more picks in later rounds or scoop up best player if he is available? it's a little early for that. We got to decide where we're going to be. Obviously, it's going to be somewhere, hopefully, around pick 32, if you catch my drift where we're going here. Here's what I would do. If someone wants to move back in to get another player, whether it's a quarterback late round like Jacob Eason, or if they want to move up and get a wide receiver like a skill position, get a Jerry Jeudy or a Henry Ruggs later in the first round, let them come up and take your spot. Past couple of years, there have been, say, Philadelphia, after winning their Super Bowl, they let the Ravens trade up to 32 and get Lamar Jackson. Last year, it was the Falcons moving back into 31 and go ahead and drafting Caleb McGarry, the right tackle. Teams like to come back in to get guys that they had pegged as a first rounder and potentially give up, you know, a second or a third plus the first and combine it, you know what I'm saying, and move all the way back in. I would trade back and get more picks. That's what I would do, because you're sitting there at 32. The odds of the pick at 32 being that much better than the pick at 42, depending on who you're trading with, to me, it's not that big of a difference. And then you have 2 second-round draft picks instead of 32 and then all the way to 64 once it all cycles through again with your second-round draft picks. So I would do a trade, although, again, it's all up to Lynch and Kyle Shanahan. If they like a guy and he's there at 32 and they didn't think he'd be there at 32, then you take him. So obviously draft boards are getting built right now. A lot of teams already have their draft boards, or at least a preliminary skeleton already up in front of the, you know, inside their war rooms and stuff, getting ready to go. So the Niners will be no different. But I would trade it if I had the right offer there to get more picks. I'm always in favor of getting more picks. Would you guys trade out of the first round, or do you guys want to keep the first-round draft pick? Type Y for yes, type N down below for no if you'd want to keep that first-round draft pick. Hugh Harris asked, do you think we can beat a hot Vikings team? They just put down the Saints, which is a great team. Hugh, you're absolutely right. It is a very good Minnesota Vikings team, and there are more questions here about how you want to attack. We're going to get into those here in just a second. This is not your average 6 seed that rolls into the postseason. It's kind of like, man, we're happy just to be here. We're a wild card team, you know, where we have a ton of flaws. Where are the flaws on this team? The flaws on the Vikings are a little bit on the outside because Trey Waynes and Xavier Rhodes have had a kind of a down year. Still good players, or at least were good players at one point. But other than that, they have elite linebackers, Anthony Barr and Kendricks. They have elite pass rushers in Hunter and Griffin. They have a very good offensive line. They have a great tight end in Kyle Rudolph. They have 2 very good wide receivers in Diggs and Thielen. They have a very capable quarterback, as we've seen in Kirk Cousins, and arguably the best running back in the National Football League when healthy in Dalvin Cook. This is as dangerous of a 6 seed as you can play. Reminds me of the Green Bay Packers all the way back in, what was it, 2010, 2012, 2011, whenever it was, when they were a 6 seed and made it all the way, beating Philadelphia in the wild card round and then advancing all the way to the Super Bowl and winning in Jerry Road against the Pittsburgh Steelers. They had a good quarterback, enough weapons, and it was just kind of like, hey, we got a roll here, we can win. With that being said, I do still think that we do win because we can get pressure on Kirk Cousins. If you watch that Saints game, Kirk Cousins balled out when he didn't have pressure. The Saints would drop back, they'd be sitting there, you know, they'd be dropping 7 in coverage, and Cousins would pick them apart. They'd bring a little pressure, gets a little shaky. I think our pass rush, how elite it is going to be enough to go ahead and take down Kirk Cousins and these Vikings, but it is nothing to shake a fist at, nothing to overlook, I should say. The Vikings are a legitimate football team. It could be closer than a lot of the sports betting lines are saying. All right, moving on here. Stephen Reynolds, he's asking, Diggs, Thielen, Rudolph are great in the passing game. How do you feel the 49ers are going to attack the Vikings offense? Great question, just answered it basically. I think you're going to be sending 1 extra man. You know, the 49ers like to get pressure with 4 because they can get pressure with 4. I can see scenarios where they leave their good cornerback, Sherman, and yes, sometimes Witherspoon or Mosley, whoever it is, on some isolated islands on Diggs and Thielen to try and create some pressure on Kirk Cousins. And obviously, got to stop the run somehow. Like, you've got to make sure Dalvin Cook does not go off, because he did go off in the Saints game. Cannot allow that to happen. Stop Cook. I mean, this is all obvious stuff, right? Stop Cook. Pressure Kirk Cousins. That's how you're going to beat the Vikings. How would you guys attack the 49ers offense? Let me know in the comment section down below. Alfredo Hernandez, a couple more here. He asked, since the Niners will have a well-rested team, for the running backs, do you think Mostert will still ball out, or do you think Breida or Coleman will take it back? Kind of got into this a little bit earlier. I would not be surprised if Breida and Coleman take it back, but like we said, for whatever reason, Shanahan, the offense, they love what they've seen in Raheem Mostert. And we got to pause for a second. Mostert literally was the number 3 running back on this team to start the season. He's worked his way to being the number 1. Sure, there were injuries, but in order to take over a running back spot and then keep it, you have to produce. That's what he's done. So I would expect Mostert to get the majority of the carries. I would love to see Matt Breida get involved here, because I think Breida has been completely underused after his injury. Maybe they don't trust him. Maybe he's still injured. Whatever it is, I would like to see Matt Breida go off in this one, because he is a dangerous runner of the football. But I'd still be sitting there most likely betting on Raheem Mostert. Subscribe to the 49ers report. We're either at 12,000 or we're almost almost at 12,000, depending when you watch this video. If we're not at it yet, click the red subscribe button. If we are, subscribe and click the notification bell. We would all greatly appreciate that. Also, a couple of quick sales here in terms of different attire that you guys might want to wear to the wildcard game. Chatsports.com/49 sale will get you guys deals on hats and t-shirts and sweaters and hoodies and everything you need to see right there. And then at chatsports.com/NFC West, we get you guys the same on-field NFC West. The West is not enough shirts that we wore after we clinched the division. So if you guys want to grab either one of those, chatsports.com/49 sale. And also chatsports.com/NFC West. Final question here, running out of time. Race Morton 57 asks, Race Morton, I should say. What is the key to winning this game? Again, trying to take a lot of questions that you guys kind of said the same or asked multiple times. The key to winning this football game. I already said defensively. That's going to be getting pressure on Kirk Cousins, stopping Dalvin Cook. The key offensively is making sure Everson Griffin and Danielle Hunter do not wreck shop on the offensive line. It's a 49er offensive line. Shaky at the start. They figured it out, and they've come back to be pretty much good to go, but you cannot have a scenario where Jimmy Garoppolo is dropped 6 times, gets a strip sack, is forced into a bad throw, which is an interception. Those two guys, Hunter and Griffin, can wreck house. That's why they beat the Saints. The Saints were driving down 3, a chance to go into the end zone and score, and Hunter had a strip sack of Drew Brees, and they recovered it, and that was really the difference maker in that game. They got to Drew Brees a lot in that one. If they do the same to Jimmy Garoppolo, we can lose this game. Protect up front, stop them from running the football, and also get pressure on them is probably my keys here for the game on Saturday. Play more coverage here on Chat Sports in terms of the next couple of days. Be sure to subscribe and also predict the Vikings versus 49ers score. I want to see how you guys are feeling in terms of this one. All-time we have for today on our mailbag. Hopefully I got your question. If I did not, we do these every single week, so don't worry. I'll probably answer it in a next video. Go 49ers. More coverage coming up over the next couple of days. We'll get you guys updated on our next 49ers report. For Chat Sports, I'm Thomas Mott, signing off. Enjoy the rest of your day.